David Davies.
Madam Deputy Speaker, nobody's ever denied that CO2 is a global warming gas. Nobody's ever denied that there is more CO2 in the atmosphere since we started industrialising. Not many people are bothering to deny the fact that there's been an increase in temperature of about 0.8 degrees over the last 250 years, although it is actually a bit more questionable than some would have it. But there's no need to question it at the moment. And so it follows absolutely that CO2 emissions that are man-made have had some impact on temperatures. What does not follow is what is the argument that is so often put forward, which is that CO2 emitted by mankind has been completely responsible for the very minor increase in temperature which we've seen over the last 250 years. Nobody, Madam Deputy Speaker, that I've ever met has ever denied that the climate changes. I've met with many people who are sceptical about current policy, and none of them have suggested that the climate doesn't change. The climate has always changed, and it always will change. And the existence of glaciers is a testament to the fact that the climate has always and will always change. And over the last 2,000 years, the climate has been changing. It was warmer during the Roman period, a fact that is actually acknowledged in the IPCC's most recent summary for policymakers when they say that it's been warmer now than it has been for 1,400 years, as though 1,400 years is a long time. The problem here is that because we all live to be hopefully 70 years and 10, we think of 70 years or 100 years as being a long time. But the Earth has been around for 4.5 billion years, and 100 years is the blink of an eye. And so I hope that when my honourable friend, who I work with on the Council of Europe, goes to Paris, she's going to deploy the same sceptical mindset about some of the things she's told that she always deployed when we worked together in Strasbourg. I hope that she will bear in mind that it was warmer during the Roman period, it then got cooler during the Dark Ages, it then got warmer again during the medieval period, and then it became much colder up until about 1800, in a period called the Little Ice Age, when ice fairs were held outside here on the Thames. And it was at about that time that we started to industrialise. Now, it was a coincidence that we industrialised at the same time that we came out of the Little Ice Age, but it absolutely must follow that some of the temperature increase that has taken place, but a very small amount, 0.8 degrees, some of that is due to the fact that the Earth was naturally warming up anyway. And in fact, the IPCC won't deny this. Of course, I'm delighted to give way to members of the opposition who disagree with me, because unlike the honourable lady opposite, I'm not afraid to have this argument.
I thank the honourable gentleman for giving way. He keeps quoting the IPCC, but does he not recognise that one of the IPCC's recent reports actually said that 100% of the climate change, the warming in the last 60 years was due to humans, and they were 95% convinced overall. You know, the IPCC has made itself very clear on this point.
Read to the honourable gentleman, if I may, then. It's a summary for policymakers 2013, online, page 17, and it's about the fourth paragraph down. What they actually say is this: it is extremely likely that more than half of the observed increase in global average surface temperature from 1951 to 2010 was caused by the anthropogenic increase in greenhouse gas concentrations and other anthropogenic forcings together. Now, what they're actually saying in simple English is that slightly more than half of the increase that's taken place in the second half of the 20th century is down to man. That's what they're saying themselves. Now, the overall increase over the last 250 years is 0.8 degrees, but in the second half of the 20th century, the increase was about 0.5 degrees, and therefore what in this report the IPCC is saying is that about 0.26, or slightly, I interpret that as being slightly over half, they think is fairly likely to have been caused by man-made evolution. I mean, the honourable gentleman can see the report himself. I've just read it out. So that is well under half of the total increase in temperature that has taken place. I mean, the honourable gentleman can shake his head, but that is the IPCC's. I'm happy to give way to the honourable lady if she wants to correct me on something, if she knows about it. So even the IPCC are not saying that, that the increase in temperature is a result of man-made carbon emissions. They're saying that some of it is, but actually the overall amount is well under half. And on the basis of this, we are going ahead with a set of policies which have caused massive increases in energy bills for homeowners and for businesses. And I would say to the honourable lady, with all due respect, none of the members opposite are going to be backing her when the policies come home to roost that she may sign up to and create higher energy prices for businesses such as SALSA, which the honourable gentleman, the member for Cardiff, quite rightly mentioned. It is absolutely outrageous that steel companies and other heavy manufacturers are finding it difficult to manufacture in this country because they're paying so much more for electricity than their competitors in the rest of Europe. And the reality is, of course, that it costs, I mean, I heard with great interest the discussion that went on here. It costs roughly £95 per megawatt hour to generate electricity from either nuclear or from onshore wind. It costs £150 per megawatt hour to do it from offshore wind. So it is very, very expensive. It is about £50 to do it from gas and around £30 to do it from coal. So again, it is absolutely certain that the more we rely on renewable energy, the more we will have to pay for it. No politician from any party should run away from this. They should be willing to go out and make the argument for paying more if they think it's a good idea, but none of them are. Nobody on this side thinks it's a good idea to put up energy bills, and nobody on the other side of the House thinks so either. So why on earth are we prepared to go out and support policies that increase our energy bills? And if we are going to do that, we should make absolutely certain that we're not doing it in the UK alone. We generate around 2% of the Earth's total man-made carbon dioxide emissions. So we're not going to have any impact on the temperature whatsoever if we unilaterally decide to whack up taxes and start making people pay more money. If there is going to be a global agreement, it absolutely does need to be a global agreement. What worries me, Madam Deputy Speaker, is that on the basis of a graph that we see in a paper with a couple of centimetres representing maybe 1 centimetre 100 years, we see a slight increase, when the reality is that the Earth has been around for so long that if we went back 100 million years, we'd need 10 kilometres, and in that time, we'd see periods of time when there'd be more CO2 in the atmosphere naturally created, greater temperatures, smaller temperatures. We'd only have to go back 30 centimetres to about 13,000 years ago to look at the Younger Dryas, which was a climatic event never properly explained, but which was entirely natural, when there was a sudden drop in temperatures by about 15 degrees within the space of just a few decades. Somebody cited Margaret Thatcher earlier on, a lady I'm always happy to call myself a fan of. She actually repudiated much of what she'd said earlier on in her book Statecraft, in a chapter called Hot Air and Global Warming, when she pointed out that people were getting quite hysterical about this. I think she was absolutely right then, and I urge the lady, the Honourable Lady, to be very, very cautious when she gets to Paris. And remember, there is a difference between healthy scepticism and denial.